Okay, so let's look at escaping from the system. So it's pretty good to know how to do this in case something quite serious happens and you might need to go down to your partner who's injured, or even go up the crag to get a phone signal or to get help. So let's just imagine that we're at the top of the crag, it's a big crag, something serious has happened and we don't have a phone signal, so we need to go back up the crag. Okay, so the whole thing starts with tying off the belay plate. So let's do that first of all. It's really good if the belay carabiner has the back bar facing up for this, because we're going to tie off the rope around it. What we've got to do is pinch the dead rope there so the belay plate is operated, and then quickly push a loop through the back bar, reach through the loop and tie what's called a slippery hitch with quite a long tail, so your arm should be almost straight. The next thing we're going to do is push the end back through the back bar and through that loop there and get a half hitch in. Pull it nice and tight. And let's finish that off with a second half hitch. Okay, so your hands are free now and the belay plate is tied off. The next thing we need to do is to start to bypass the belayer. We need to get a prusik on there and then attach that to this rope. Okay, so let's look at how to get a French prusik onto the rope. So I'm going to keep the knot of the prusik on the climber's side and then wrap the rope, the prusik rather, away from the belayer. And then clip both ends together. Before you go any further, check that that will slide, but also that it will bite. And then just leave that there for a sec, we'll come back to that. The next thing we're going to do is use a 120 meter sling. Sorry, that should be a 120 centimeter sling, okay? And I can't quite reach the anchor, okay? Which makes it a little bit inconvenient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a clem heist, okay, using this sling here. So I'm going to start with the sewn part of the sling and keep that closest to me, and then wrap the sling away from me up towards the anchor, round and round both strands of the rope until there's a tiny loop left, and that's on the anchor side, and then take this loop here, pass it through that one, slide it back up the rope, and we need to be really sure that that does actually grip the rope. Very powerful prusik. That's really good. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is attach the French prusik, which is in front of us, to the clem heist, which is behind us. And I'm going to use another 120 centimeter sling. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that in half. Make sure that I can reach both sides. Okay, that's great. Okay, so I'm getting there now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the dead rope here, which is coming from the back of the belay plate, and I'm going to tie that into this big carabiner, this HMS carabiner here, with an Italian hitch. So tie the Italian hitch Clip it into there. And turn that over so that this rope, which will become the load rope, flicks the Italian hitch over, and then I'm going to tie it off. Slippery hitch. Half hitch. And then another half hitch. That's good. Okay. Then I'm going to come back to this, back to the belay plate, and undo the belay plate. Carefully get that slippery hitch out. Okay, I'm going to lower that slightly now so that this takes all the load. Fantastic, just check that bites. Good, so that's bitten there. So at the moment the climber's hanging on that. Take the belay plate off and carefully get that out of the way. We've got some slack rope here, and it's better if all the load goes into that Italian hitch. So what we'll do is we'll come back to that now. Pull all that through. Okay, and then take it into lowering mode, so pull on the live rope and then tie that off. Slippery hitch first. Not a bad idea to clip that loop there back in to what is the master point, because in a minute climbers are going to be hanging on that. They might be hanging on that for a while. It's a good idea to unload the prusik now, and all you need to do with a prusik is when someone's hanging on it is just slide it, and then all the load goes into that Italian hitch, which in turn goes into the clem heist and into the anchors. Let's clean this up, because there's a good chance that we're going to need some of this equipment later on. Okay, now there's no load on me. Okay, you can see all the load is going through that there and into the anchors. So I've in fact escaped the system. Now, being that I'm still at the top of the crag, depends on the circumstances you're in, but it's not a bad idea to attach yourself to this while you're near to the edge of the crag. So I'm going to go into that master point there so that I'm safe when I'm untying from the climbing rope. Just going to untie from the climbing rope. Now, you might have noticed that this clem heist is gripping these two ropes, and I've just untied from that rope there. And it shouldn't slide, but it's probably not a bad idea to put a knot in these ropes here beneath this. Put a big knot in that, double figure of 8. So there's no chance that can slide past it. Some people put another carabiner in there, but I don't think it's necessary. And then you can get back from the edge and go and get help. Okay, that's it.